us lost. He got us very lost, and that means I'm gonna have to cut our 2 week safari short by about 14 days. But no need to worry there. I will drop you off at the nearest warden post, and it's only a 35-mile walk back to the village. So definitely when you go back to the village, check out is one of the largest birds. These three coming up over here, they are fast. They can run about 40-45 miles per hour. However, they cannot fly. Now, the male ostrich has black feathers and the females have gray, but there are some reported studies if there's no dominant male around, the most dominant female, she will shed her gray feathers and she will grow black ones. But like I was saying, they run about 40 to 45 miles per hour until they get in the road and in front of one of our trucks. And then they walk at 2 miles per hour. Yeah. Not fun. Yep, it is. Right over here, folks, the male lion's laying down. Pretty much what lions do all day. Now, at night, the female lioness, she will go out and she will hunt, while the male lion stays home to protect the pride. Now, it's reported that his mane weighs anywhere from 40 pounds. And then in a sprint, their bodies get overheated, so they have to cool themselves down. Now, because they're so beautiful, poachers will hunt them down for their coats and leave them there to die. Same story with the lion. Here in Africa, they were close to extinction, but thanks to anti-poaching laws and reserves like this one, we've been able to increase the number of the white rhino. Now, the white rhino can reach a size up to about 5,000 pounds, but it's actually the female that's bigger than the male. And they get their name from the Afrikaans word "wide," which means wide or broad now. So the white rhino's horn is kind of like the human hair and fingernail, where you can Now these pink birds that you see over here on the left-hand side, these are greater flamingo. Now greater flamingo is the lightest and pink coloring of the flamingo. They're a whitish gray color when they're born, but they get their pink coloring later on in life from eating brine, shrimp, krill, and other crustaceans that are very high in beta-carotene. Now that's different than the beta-carotene that's in your fingernails and in your hair. Now it's reported that in order for a human being to turn that shade of pink, they would have to eat at least 2,000 pounds worth of shrimp per day. I'm actually going to pull up a little bit more and get you a better view of the elephant.
Oh, wait. Well, I didn't have Mickey this year. You might need us.
Now, there are 2 baby elephants out there. The larger one's about 1.5 to 2 years old, I would say. The smaller one's about maybe 6 months to a year old.
Oh, when are you going to see the lion?
We'll see the lion soon. No worries there. You will definitely see lions. Now, scientists here in Harambe are studying the vocal patterns of the elephants to help us better understand how elephants communicate, the noises that they make. We're also studying their migration patterns to help us That sound is a bridge. Yeah, that's the bridge, folks. That's not the truck. Alright, so we made it across. I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the radio. We're gonna go across this old bridge, pulley, very slow. I do need everyone to stay fully seated as we go. Before you check out the elephant, because there's more coming up ahead, look on the left and keep your eyes peeled for mandrill. Look for mandrill on the left. Trust me, ignore the elephant right now. There's more up ahead. Look for the mandrill. They are the most colorful of the monkey, with a bright bluish red face and a bright bluish red bottom. The most dominant male is about 100 pounds. And the smallest babies are about 1 to 2 pounds. So they're the mandrill. They're usually harder to spot, but they're out in the open. That's why I tell you folks to look for them first, because once we hit the red clay pits,
You might want to die. I can't see it.
now folks, if an animal does get close enough to the truck, I do ask that you do not touch them. Sometimes the animals will get close enough to the trucks, but please do not touch any of these wild animals. They are wild animals, and for your safety, please do not touch the animals. Right over here on the left-hand side, folks, this is a Patterson's eland. Now, Patterson's eland is the largest of the antelope, reaching 6 feet tall at the shoulder and 2,000 pounds. Yeah, I'm talking about you right there. 6 feet tall at the shoulder and 2,000 pounds. Now, no two horns on the Patterson's eland are ever the same, kind of like the human fingerprint. Now, coming up over here, there's an animal walking over on our left-hand side. There's also some over on our right-hand side. These are white-bearded wildebeest. Now, the white-bearded wildebeest lead the largest land migration in the world. 1.5 million of them travel across Africa every year. Now, when the white-bearded wildebeest is born, it has 15 minutes to learn how to run, or their parents leave them behind. Did you hear that, kids? 15 minutes. I need everyone to stay fully seated at all times. Fully seated. And we do have giraffes coming up ahead, folks. We actually have 2 different subspecies of giraffes here in the reserve. Now, the ones that have the larger set net-like pattern, those are reticulated giraffe. They get their name from the Latin word reticulata. And then the one that's going to be closest to the truck right here, that is a Maasai giraffe. They get their name for their messy pattern. Now, reticulated giraffe are 18 to 20 feet tall, and Maasai giraffe are 14 to 16 feet tall. Now, giraffe only sleep for about 30 minutes of the day in 1 to 2 minute increments, and then they spend the rest of the day eating. So they're eating and they're sleeping, and they're eating and sleeping all day long, kind of like newborn babies and teenage boys.
Bebe thì ngủ mất rồi. Bebe ngủ
You should know, my friend.
Cho Bebe thấy chị Giáp.
Yeah, well, you know, I just hear things. Now, those 4 giraffe, there are 3 giraffe that are back there. Those are all Maasai giraffe. Just kind of walking along. Leafless 9 months out of the year through the drought, and they survive the drought by storing large amounts of water in their very large trunks. Now, baobab trees can live to be about 2,000 to 3,000 years old. Now, we're coming up to my favorite view of the whole savanna right here, folks, and this shows us the Serengeti grasslands. Now, the Serengeti grassland stretches for hundreds and hundreds of miles, and it's home to elephants, giraffes, zebras, sable antelope, Patterson's eland, Thompson's gazelles, lions, and cheetahs, just to name a few. And it's part of the Africa that we are trying to conserve today. Now, each animal will do its part in helping maintain the Serengeti grasslands.
Daddy.
Elephants will knock over the trees, allowing for sunlight to come in, soil to be upturned, and also the land to be spread out. From there, giraffes will leave rings around the tops of the trees, allowing for sunlight to come in and grass to grow. Elephants will also eat the softwood on the inside of the trees that they knock over. Then, as the grass grows taller, we've got the sable antelope and the Patterson's eland who eat the taller grass. And then we have our Ankole cattle, or Thompson's gazelle, and our springbok, and our white-bearded wildebeest. They all eat the shorter grass, sometimes the weeds. So it really is food enough for everyone out here in the Serengeti grasslands. The folks coming up over here on our right-hand side, that is a Ankole cattle, or Watusi cattle, named after the Watusi tribe in Africa. Those horns are 6 feet long, 20 inches around, and they're a hollow honeycomb structure that the cattle will use to keep their bodies cool by pumping the blood up into their horns. And then when it's cooled down, they pump it back down into their bodies. It's their own natural air conditioning system. So right over here. There's also one over here on the left-hand side.
Termite?
Yes, that is a termite mound. Good question. My friend in row 2, good job. He asked if those red mounds out there, what they were, if those were termite mounds, and I said, yes, they are. Those termite mounds are made from soil, saliva, and dirt, whipped up into a mixture that becomes almost concrete-like in the sun. Elephants will use those termite mounds as scratching posts, and then sable antelope and springbok will use those as lookout posts to watch out for predators like the lion and the cheetah. Now, the largest part of the termite mound is actually found underneath the ground. And folks, my advice to you, don't ever get too close to a termite mound, because rumor has it that boa constrictors do like to hide near termite mounds. And unless you want a nice tight hug from a cold-blooded reptile that refuses to let go. Much more aggressive. They have their mouths open to, please do stay fully seated, folks. They have their mouths open to regulate the body temperatures because they are the largest of the cold-blooded reptiles at 18 to 20 feet long. But their jaws have a snapping power of 1,200 pounds per square inch. And they definitely are very force swimmers, so what they do is they sink their whole body weight down to the bottom of the riverbed. And they'll just kind of glide or walk along the bottom of the river. And then they'll come along the shore at night and they eat about 150 pounds worth of grass per night. There's one right over here kind of walking or gliding. I'm going to see if I can pull up, see if I can spot any more as we go up a little bit. Now the white birds that you see here on the island over here, these are pinkback pelican. Now they work together to herd fish into shallow waters, and then from there they eat the fish. Now here's a hippo right over here on the left-hand side. Kind of looks like a rock sticking out of the water. That is a hippo. Now folks, like I said before, it's very important that you do stay fully seated at all times. We go over bumpy roads. With the white stripes, that's a bongo. Now bongos are known as the ghosts of the forest, typically very shy and reclusive animals. Now with the black rhino, they are an endangered species. They've been hunted down by poachers for their horns, and because of that there are fewer than 5,000 black rhino left in the world. It's a very sad situation. They're actually the only known relative of the giraffe because of their bone structuring, and they share the same 14-inch long purple tongue. They're typically nocturnal animals. They do like to hide during the day. And then we do have over here also, we've got an okapi right over here. It's that brown animal with the black and white striped legs. Now the okapi was have that all set to go, ground cleared. So we're going to enter the reserve right now through the Little Ituri Forest.